Alright, welcome back. Hope you're having a good day. Got a tiger bark ficus here. Let's get a look all the way around here first. And then just quick, I picked it up 3.5 months ago. A look from this side. And then a look at the other one too. So far I made a quick video with it. I took the wire off and basically clipped back a couple parts, and that was about it. I have been, at first I intended to wire it around in March, and then I just kind of looked. It was on a clearance rack because it had some dead spots on the trunk. And I just thought, well, if I just had just as much growth as I possibly could out of it, perhaps maybe some of the live bark would start covering over there and everything. And you can actually tell where it's thickening up a little bit, but at the same time, these branches are getting very long and close to, I wouldn't say lignified, I mean still plenty flexible, you can see there, but enough where I'd like to go ahead and keep the movement going. I think I mentioned earlier this is the only tree I've got that ever had, you know, any other styling done on it except for maybe some initial chops or anything like that. And it was, you know, very nicely done, and so I'd like to kind of keep whatever kind of movement they had in it still in it. Usually with most ficus trees, I, you know, defoliate and or prune completely before I get the wire on, but in my desire to have this keep as much steam as possible, and also all of my other tiger bark ficuses are pretty small. But since it is, you know, so much thicker than everything else I have already, I am going to try to make something pretty big at it and let it go ahead. And, you know, another reason, just let it keep that steam going. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go piece by piece here. And as I go along, try to think about what it's going to look like when I'm done. And, you know, down towards, basically when I got it, the wire was probably up to about here. And this is all just a new shoot that has come out since then. This one probably has the biggest head of steam going. This other one over here does too. The apex as well. But when I go in, I'm just going to go ahead and pick a few branches and think about what it's going to look like once I get the wire on there. And once I get the wire on, some of these secondary branches they had, you know, that they do already have, would be straight up. And then the idea here, when I leave this, there's about 6-7 growing tips in there. It's just got a whole lot of steam going, like I said. And I just get the wire on it. This branch, if I wasn't going to get wire on it, this would be a great directional pruning here. But since I am going to get the wire, that one would be just going straight up. Alright, so there's the first few branches done. I'll work my way around to this back group. I'm going to try to work a bottom layer and then work my way up. Maybe I'll do a couple more branches this time. Definitely get rid of that one. Alright, I got the wire on there. You know, I never wire on camera just simply because I'm not one to be teaching. I really haven't been doing this long enough to teach, especially any kind of wiring techniques or anything. Pretty good at keeping trees healthy, but I'm still figuring things out. But I suppose I could try to bend them into place here again. I went along the bottom layer, if you will, all the way around to here. I did kind of consider these two branches to be the next layer up. I'm having a hard time figuring out. I've been using some 1 millimeter. I don't have any 1.5. I've been using some 1 millimeter or 2 or 2.5. This one almost kind of needs a 2.5, where this one really needs a 1. and it's just kind of by itself, and so is this one now. So I'm gonna maybe I can figure out a way to wire it with the apex or something after I get around there. But for now, like I said, I'll just stick with this lower level. So when I got some more movement and an angle on that one, just kind of more towards the front, a little more empty space up here. And so just kind of use that one to fill that space, because then these two are really close together, and now I've got some place to put this one in. And again, trying to stick with the bones that they had set, and wherever they had a bend going to the left, just trying to make that bend either a little more to the left or just follow right along with it. I only did wire the primary branches, so some of these smaller secondary ones that didn't get any on there, they'll start to take off a little. Eventually I'll bring it back into balance. I think with that, I think I'll take that one out and leave that one. I was almost going to take that branch off there, but I took the one that was kind of coming from underneath there once I had that bend in there. Alright, which, quicker than you would have thought, leaves me only this branch here as being the one left in the bottom layer. And it's coming out at a bad spot. So is that. And I'll have to pretty much wire that to itself here. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. And then these two are just way too close together. Just snip that one off. This one really had some good movement in it already. Just kind of leave the wire on that part there and get some similar movement out here towards the end. You may notice I didn't get any wire on this one here. It was very spindly, and I don't think that'll really matter all that much. As long as I don't cut the growing tip, that'll keep being good and flexible out that way. A little bit of a crowded area right in there, but I don't think there's much I can do about that. And then here in the apex, this one is a really strong branch here, so I wired that one. Once I try to pull that one down, that's going to bring that down into the already crowded area anyway. Guess I already kind of, if that was any lower on the tree, I'd probably cut that off. But since it is up here in the apex, couldn't allow that to fill in. And a little more movement out of this guy. Sometimes towards the end of wiring, start getting a little frustrated and tired. But I did, there's some nice movement there already. But I did have that wired to this branch here. These two are wired together, and then that's wired to this one. Just so I can kind of keep that movement up. through there and try to have like a little more. And there we go. One thing with these a tiger bark ficus is a Ficus microcarpa, but compared to the ones that I mostly have, which are, you know, some people call them the green island, some people call it green mound, those I think you can leave, even in the growing season, leave the wire on quite a bit longer than you can with these. This will just get, you know, incredible growth spurts all the way through the summer. And so I do notice that they do slow down a little more than the other type of microcarpa in the dead of our winter here, which is basically, you know, the end of December, beginning of January. But I'll have to check it quite often. But I think it should turn out pretty good. Right at the beginning, I may not have... I tried to remember to show the little dead spot there. But there's a spot there where the bark is missing all the way into the heartwood. And then a spot here where it looks like it just kind of started. And there's still some, you can see there's some dead bark around it. For right now, there's still not all that much to carve back to. I think maybe when I come back and take this wire off, when I take this wire off, the plan would be either to give it a hard prune or maybe take that chance to wire the secondary branches instead. But when I do that, I may try to get my, I got a little wire brush fitting for my Dremel and just try to get to some live bark around there, see if that'll start healing up a little more. But that is one of the reasons why I just left